Over the weekend, we went to a bar, was interested in me. He approached me. He did get my phone number. Morning, my best friend sends me a screenshot of Hinge, and that same guy who she was with me that night at the bar, that same guy tried to match with her. So she matched with him just to say, I thought you were interested in my best friend. We both agreed that if he even has a single brain cell, that man would not respond. He would just unmatch with her. He responds and says, although your friend, me, is an attractive woman for personal reasons, I feel as though it would not be a great match. And then he like tries to have a conversation with her. She unmatched him. I don't know if the rest of everywhere else is like this too, but this is just the dating scene in South Florida. I try to look at myself intuitively and kind of assess who I am as a person. But here's the thing. Fully independent 27-year-old woman who takes care of herself mentally and physically. I work out all the time. I eat very clean. I surround myself with good people. I pay all of my bills. I live on my own in Palm Beach County, doing just fine. I'm doing actually really great for myself. For whatever personal reason you have that you think that I am not a great match, the only conclusion I can come up with is that you are not willing to step up, be at the same level as a woman who has her shit together.
She was tight because he went for the friend. And now she's explaining her entire existence, which she doesn't have to do. But obviously, it hit a nerve. See, what I find funny is that women only remember the guys who are indifferent to them. The ones who actually have balls. It's the only guys that they remember. You know, the guys that want to do anything for them and blah, 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 blah. They're literally the butt of the joke. They're forgotten. It's only until later they're like, oh, I remember that guy. I need one of those guys. Let me pull one of those guys out of the nice guy bin or whatever. But the only guys that they truly remember are the guys that are indifferent to them. So he shot his shot at her friend. And she's like, he should have known to not say anything or whatever. And he tried to continue the conversation. Yes, it's not a big deal like that. See, the men that they're attracted to, even when we talk about approaching, right? A man that can approach a woman, get rejected, then go up to another woman in front of that woman and get accepted. You ever notice how women don't like that? You can ask a woman to dance. She says, no, I'm good. You go dance with another woman, and now she's looking at you the whole night. Like, yo, you tripping. How am I tripping? Because I moved along, right? I had the confidence within myself. I didn't get down on myself. I said, I'm not out for the count. This was expected to happen. Now I go to somebody who's going to accept me, and now that's a problem. Because I have balls, that's why they remember you. Because you're indifferent to them. But this clip is very funny. They always talking this nonsense. The guys who are indifferent to them, the guys who have balls, they're worried about them or they're thinking about them. Meanwhile, they're avoiding and stiff-arming the nice guys. Let's get the next clip.
Okay, so I just asked this guy. We talked for a little bit. It was like a Hinge match, okay? It triggered the fuck out of me. Oh my god. Why am I crying on camera? Okay, this is what had happened. So we went on like literally one date. We talked for a while. He seemed excited, but he lives like 2 hours away, okay? And so it just kind of fizzled, and then I was gonna be in town, so we met up. We had a good day. And then I could just tell like things were not vibing afterwards. You know, I could just tell his energy was a little reserved, and I was like, okay. So I just let it fizzle, whatever. But this is some guy. I was like, oh, he's hot. He's like established. Da, da, da. I was like, I like this guy. And things went well on the date. Why is he? What happened? I never got clarity. So tonight, a few months, that was in the summer. I don't know. A few months later, I just sent him a voice message and I asked him. I said, hey, I hope you're doing well. Blah, 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 blah. Pleasantries. And I said, hey, I just would love to know like what the disconnect was. Like what was the, like I thought we had a fun time. The communication was fun. Yeah. I just talked about what a good time I had. And I was like, I just asked him for genuine feedback. I was like, what happened basically? And I said, no hard feelings. Of course, no hard feelings. Things just don't work sometimes and whatever. But for my growth, I want to attract somebody that I respect. And right now I'm attracting a bunch of fucking avoidance and I'm blah. What happened anyways. And so I held it together, okay, guy. And then he texted me that it was just the distance. So we had a really good day and it was fun, but there's a lot of hurdles with distance and why am I upset? Why am I crying? I feel better talking it out, actually. Thanks, TikTok. Thanks, TikTok. But I think it triggered my inner child in a way that was like, somebody didn't choose me, like I wasn't worthy enough for a long distance, like making that effort. Which is hurtful. But I appreciate the honesty, you know? And that's all I needed to do. It was very vulnerable. I think that was another part of it too. The vulnerability of asking somebody like, hey, what happened? And then them answering, and it's just like, just wasn't worth it, kind of. Like, he was so nice about it. He's so nice about it, but it hurt my feelings. It triggered me. Have any of you ever done this? Have any of you ever asked somebody, maybe they ghosted you, I don't know, ask? It's kind of like, grow, get a little uncomfortable. I sent him a voice message asking him, what was the disconnect?
She said she wants to attract someone who she respects. She respects him. She listed off a bunch of positive things about him. But because he wasn't chasing her validation, you don't respect him? And he didn't ghost her. See, this is what I try to always tell guys. When you're telling a woman, okay, never mind, you're not ghosting them. You're operating with emotional intelligence. You're not even ghosting. He said it's the distance. Now, here's the problem that she's facing. She's not making herself useful. She said he was hot and established. Okay? That's a guy you would want. Make yourself useful and drive to him if the distance is a problem. Let him know, okay, that's not a problem. Women will drive to you when they're seriously interested. When they have high interest in you, the distance will be nothing. I told you guys, a chick recently just told me, oh, I have a car, it's okay. My chick, she always makes a joke about this exit that she passes on the way to my house. The last guy she dated, she told him, I don't drive to guys, and he always drove to her. She wants to be chased. She wants a guy to chase after her validation, which includes paying for dates, driving to her, and all of this stuff. No, you said he's hot and established. If you don't meet these guys everywhere or every day, or even get a date with one of these guys, you have to make yourself useful. They don't understand this. Let's get the next clip.
I went on a date last night and I couldn't quite figure out what the fuck the guy's problem was, but I think I finally figured it out. He couldn't be happy for anything that I was saying. Pretty much anytime I would talk about myself, he would tune me out, and it was very obvious that he would stop paying attention. I would ask him questions like, what do you do for work? Oh, you do this for work. How do you like that? How long have you been doing that? So many follow-up questions, and then he's just like, oh, what about you? As soon as I start talking, you can tell he's looking around, not paying attention to what I'm saying. If he would say something back, it was something so backhanded. I was talking to him about how I'm a personal trainer. I just got into it. I'm really excited to build my client base. And he was like, yeah, I mean, personal training's pretty easy. I have a lot of buddies that do that. So I think that'll be good for you. Just shit like that, where it was just so backhanded and couldn't actually be genuine. No follow-up questions, just a backhanded comment. I think what it is, it's envy, because a lot of guys are very, very intimidated by success and someone who has a strong head on their shoulders, somebody who has a dominating personality. I would say I have a dominating personality. They are very intimidated by that. I should say boys are, men aren't, but boys are very intimidated by a dominating personality, and they fear confidence because a lot of them just want a woman that is at their beck and call and will just be a yes woman. They're so envious of the confidence that women have when they have a strong head on their shoulders and how they portray themselves and how they're not scared or not just going to be that doormat. So I'm not sure why I'm attracting guys like that. I definitely don't have a personality to be walked all over. It's just really getting old, the not being able to ask any questions about the person you're with or even genuinely care what the other person is talking about.
He wasn't intimidated by her. Do not be fooled. Remember, guys, I can tell you all these stories and I don't have to be there. The guy wasn't intimidated by her. The thing is, she wants to talk about career fields, career paths. She wants to talk about how she's thriving. She's not asking him, what are his favorite hobbies? What is he passionate about? anything that keeps the conversation going, but she's doing this generic BS where she's talking about her career because now she's taking off in whatever she's doing and she wants to compare. Men are not intimidated by women. Newsflash. Men see or feel as though you are this big-headed, arrogant person because of the way you speak. The things you're speaking about. You want to talk about careers and all of this stuff. Okay, great. You're doing well in your life. This is what people should be doing. This is what people should be doing with their life. They should be an adult. They call it adulting. They want a pat on the back for that. No, you're an adult. You're thriving in your life as you should as a productive member of society. That is all. She wants to prop herself up, and then she expects him to be like, oh my God, really? That's amazing. You're so different. You're not like anybody else I've talked to. Tell me more. Please. I'm dying to listen. Yeah. That's not how that goes. Men get a whiff of that. And see, in these relationship dynamics, those type of women actually do better with a guy. See, they want a guy who's respectable, masculine, a go-getter and stuff like that, and a provider. But who they're going to tend to deal better with is a guy who isn't decisive. A guy who's going to lean on her to make decisions. A guy who's going to hand his paycheck to her. A guy who's going to need her to make the moves because she's the strong one in the relationship. Believe it or not. See, you would think, no, she needs a strong guy with her. No, they clash. So typically the only guys who it's really going to work in a relationship is a guy who is a lesser guy. A guy that doesn't believe in himself. A guy that's going to chase her validation. And she's going to be able to maneuver how she wants and dictate the relationship and have control over the relationship. Those are going to be the guys that stick around for them because those guys are going to view her as better than them. A guy who loves himself is not going to do well in a relationship with this woman. Just the facts. But he didn't chase her validation, and now she's spinning it as he's intimidated. And this is what they're going to do all the time. He's not chasing you. He doesn't care like that. He's not trying to apply pressure like that. Oh, he's intimidated, girl. Okay, you lose out on an opportunity, though.